Hi, my name is Gauri Srivastava and I gave NEET in July 2022 and I scored 650 marks and my rank was 4447 or 4447. We're going to be talking about NEET today and how you should be going on about preparing for the exam, given that it happens in May 2023 and you have 7 to 8 months left, ample of time. So the first thing about NEET is it doesn't necessarily test your intelligence or your IQ like the JEE Advanced does. It tests your ability to work hard and how many times can you repeat things, how many times can you repeat the syllabus. Now, first let's start with subjects individually. Biology accounts for 360 marks of the total. Most of your effort at this point of time should be going to bio because it may seem from distance that it's very easy to do the NCERT and I'll do it a few months before because it's just memorization, but memorizing two little thick books can be a big task and it takes a lot of energy. So for bio, you have to learn to repeat, recall and apply. Now you have to repeat the NCERT again and again. And the matter of the NCERT, you should be able to recall it when you need it during the exam. And if they make a question a little tricky, you should be able to apply the syllabus and the concepts of the NCERT for bio. You should be figuring out how to extract information from the NCERT from like every nook and cranny. You should be making up mnemonics, highlighting, making notes, putting up sticky notes and everything. It should be your one pit stop for revising the entirety of bio. You shouldn't have like 5 reference books and 2 question books. The NCERT is and should be enough for you to revise and just comprehend the syllabus and memorize it properly. You can annotate your NCERT, you can make it your own so that when you sit down to revise, it's not very boring or a very big task. But I think you should start right now. If there's concepts that aren't clear for you, first you should work on that strictly from the NCERT. No point in doing extra stuff, and then you should work on memorizing as much as you can for the NCERT. Let's move on to chemistry now. 3 parts: inorganic, organic and physical. Physical first, you have to clear your concepts. If the first chapter of 11th grade isn't clear to you, the entirety of physical chemistry is going to be a little wobbly because it doesn't have the basic legs to stand on, which the first chapter provides for you. So if physical chemistry is a weak topic for you, I think you should start working from the ground up, because you can't pick one chapter to do. You're going to need the first chapter and then subsequent chapters, and it's going to build up. And physical chemistry, you should be practicing questions in a given limited amount of time to time yourself and figure out if you can calculate, solve the entire question and get the correct answer in a certain amount of time. So time yourself and do as many questions as you can for physical chem. Inorganic is memorization. It's comparatively easy marks because it's not a lot of concepts. It's mostly memorizing statements, memorizing electronic configurations, memorizing uses and examples. So do all the block chemistry and periodic classification. Do all those chapters, revise them, read them from the NCERT. They're easy marks. It's not a lot of work compared to physical, where you have to apply a lot of brain. Here it's memorization, and that's what biology students are known for. So do focus on that. Then organic, there's no point in doing extra things in organic because the NTA tends to stick to the NCERT for the past few years. Since NEET has been united and AIIMS and everything has been united, they tend to stick to the NCERT, so there's no point in running after extra concepts that are not going to help you in the final exam. So focus on the NCERT concepts, memorize statements, memorize name reactions, memorize colors and tests and all of that. Especially 12 chapters, and do back exercises and stuff to strengthen your NCERT concepts. There's no point in doing extra stuff because they don't ask you extra stuff, they ask you NCERT things. So do that well and properly, and don't run behind things that aren't gonna help you at the end of the day, because our aim is scoring marks in NEET. It's not doing a PhD at this point of time. It's learning information that's important to you and revising it again and being able to recall it. Now let's come to physics. Physics tends to be the problem, it tends to be the issue, the bane of existence for NEET aspirants. It was for me personally for a while, especially towards the 12th grade, and the exam was nearing and I was freaking out because there were certain chapters that was just I had zero clue. Oscillations and waves, the second a question came up from that chapter and sample tests and stuff, I just used to go next, and nothing's happening. Spring, the second I saw spring, I was I had no idea what to do. This is the first time around. That chapter did not go in my head, and especially in 11th, you're very rushed. They're trying to finish the syllabus, and that those chapters tend to get lost, and they're pretty important chapters. They count for certain marks. So I was very scared about that, because I talked to a few people. They were like, I left those chapters, and I was like, I really don't want to do that. But I tried reading those chapters from my modules and from books and stuff, and I wasn't able to grasp it. The concepts were not becoming clear to me. So at that point of time, what I did was I found a teacher who used to teach physics. So basically what he did with him, he had this batch, and he basically repeated the entirety of physics. So if you're in the 12th grade, 11th physics or 12th physics, ray optics, and certain chapters, they're like not very clear to you at all, and they're a very big issue, it's something you're not able to do on your own, I think the best course of action is doing it again, like not on your own. Because if you didn't get it, I'm sure you must have tried it. If it's not happening for you, then I think finding a teacher and just doing physics again, having somebody teach you physics again from point to point, only concentrating on what's coming in the NEET, is going to be a big help. It's going to instill confidence in you, and it's going to, because what will happen, the closer you get to the exam, it's going to be, you're going to feel like, okay, I did this like a few months ago, of course I remember this, like, of course I remember these formulas, because that's what happened with me. Because I was like, oh, I remember we did this question in class, so because I did it fairly recently. So I think that's the best course of action for physics. If it's a very big issue for you, to do it again. And obviously if you excel at it, then kudos to you, perfect your biochemistry. And on the other side, if you don't, and it's a very big problem subject for you, it's just something you think it's going to hold you back, then be selective about it and only do things that you can achieve and gain a very easy marks in. Do that, and perfect biochemistry. But at this point of time, you should be focusing on doing as much physics as you can, because we're all capable, and if you need somebody, ask for help. And I'm sure, it's not that hard, because for us this time, 2022, they did physics was like the easier part compared to chemistry. They made chemistry challenging and they made physics hard. So there's no need to be worried if you don't get physics or if you don't get physical chemistry, because you have so much time right now. So just have somebody teach it to you, have a friend who's very good at it teach it to you, because then it'll benefit the both of you. Or get a teacher and have them teach it to you again, because you have time right now. You can decide, you can choose what's going to happen right at this moment. So do physics again. And let's move on to reference books, because that's a very popular question people tend to ask. So I think bio, you obviously NCERT should be your priority number one, but MTG Fingertips, it's a very popular book. That's okay as well. It was good practice. And then there's I did MTG Fingertips and MTG PYQ both for practice. And then there's so many questions from coaching institutes, when we do sample papers. And bio, do questions, but make your priority NCERT, because they make up questions from every nook and cranny. So it's not the best course of action to only do questions, like revise and do questions, at least right now. Then chemistry, I did not use any books for inorganic, organic. I bought books, but I did not end up using them because I was just too busy memorizing the NCERT. I did do questions for physical chemistry from Narendra Basti, because in that book they have questions from every medical exams that's happened in the past 20-30 years. And they so those were helpful, because the timing thing, and they have a very large amount of questions for every chapter. So that was very helpful for physical chemistry. And obviously questions from your coaching institutes and their modules and whatever material they provide. Physics, I did physics MTG Fingertips for physics as well, because I felt like they were trickier questions, but they weren't very hard, so it was good. It was a good challenge, and it was great practice. Then I had USSP errorless, because they give you a lot of questions for every topic, which makes revising and doing, for example, if you just want to do questions for radioactivity, you can look for questions just for radioactivity and do those. USSP errorless was very helpful for that. And you can do the NCERT back exercises if that's something you feel like you can do and you want to. I personally I did chemistry and bio back exercises. Physics I did not touch, but that's something you can do to be more confident. 2022 we had a lot of statement-based questions, so focus on that for chemistry and bio. And even physics, we had a question about Biot-Savart's law, which I did not attempt because I had no idea. So you can revise those things from coaching notes or your own notes, or you can from coaching notes or your own notes, or you can read the NCERT as well. Reading the physics NCERT is a little bit hard, but it won't hurt, I'm sure. You should be reading summary and points to ponder for all the subjects for the NCERT, because sometimes they have these statements there that they may give you statements in the exam. We had a lot of that in our sample papers when we were attempting them before NEET. And it's not unachievable, the NEET. It is a lot of hard work and a lot of perseverance and a lot of sacrifice. So especially if you're in the 12th grade, then don't focus on the boards too much, because like the boards are not gonna really help you in anything, and it's just gonna take out time from your NEET preparation, because the board percentage doesn't really matter. I mean, especially now with the CUET and JEE Mains obviously has existed for a very long time, the CUET has made the boards more redundant, so there's no point in focusing your energy on the boards and like taking a lot of time. Obviously prepare for them a little bit, but the aim is to pass. It's not going to help you in any way whatsoever. So focus on what matters, focus on entrance exams and not the boards, because they're not going to help you. And yeah, good luck. It's a very achievable exam. It's just hard work and it's a lot of repetition and it's a lot of boredom towards the end. I remember just being bored out of my mind from reading the NCERT. So I mean, but it's something you have to do at that point of time. So good luck to everybody preparing for next year, and I'm sure if you put the work in, you will definitely get the results. Yeah, good luck and thank you for your time.